Welcome to Underlords Universe. And usually I have a couple of my colleagues with me, Brent and or Josh. And today it's just me. I'm going to be doing a quick review of the new Super Deluxe edition of the Yes album by, of course, Yes. And if you stumbled across this video, it's probably because of that. So um, now, if you would be so kind to click subscribe and click the little bell for notifications, that'd be cool. Anyway, we call ourselves the Underlords Universe because we do a lot of our own creative work, musically and literary stuff, books, stories, music, and I'll put some links below if you're interested in helping to support local artists, independent artists, and if not, that's cool. If you're just here to see what a dingbat like me thinks about the new Super Deluxe edition of the Yes album, that's fine too. So I'll get right to it. First of all, the packaging. I think the packaging is really cool. I like the fact that it's vinyl sized packaging, which of course kind of has to be since it actually has the vinyl in it. Right there, I'm not going to pull that out. So a couple things first about the packaging. Yeah, I think it's great. I love it. I love the way it looks. Uh, the the spot with the vinyl and the liner notes that slips in there, it's a little dicey. I'm always a little concerned about pulling that up and tearing right there. It'd be nice if that little divot there was a little bit lower so you could kind of get your hands in there and pull that out. But that's a small detail, I think, for an otherwise really nice package. And of course, it contains the four CD components as well, right there. And then the Blu-ray for the surround editions. A couple things about the surround edition. It does say on the package that it's a new 2023 surround sound mix. That's true when it comes to the Atmos surround mix, but it actually says that it's just a new regular surround mix as well. And right in here in the Stephen Wilson has a little bit about the new mix. And in fact, he really kind of just says it's the 2014 mix with just a couple of tweaks. So that might be worth noting. One more thing about the packaging. I think the liner notes are nice. They're what you'd expect. Some nice pictures that I hadn't seen before, and nice little write-up about the time period in the album. But one thing that does kind of bug me a little bit is the fact that the inside cover and inside the back and front covers, it's pictures from the Relayer tour. I mean, that's Patrick Moraz right there. And if you're watching this because you're a Yes fan, he's Tony Kaye is on the Yes album, not Patrick Moraz. And nothing against Patrick Moraz. Relayer, the album he's on. I'd love to see an edition like this of the Relayer album, but and it might be a small detail, but stuff like that just kind of irks me a little bit because it's like, how hard is it to get this right? I mean, they get everything else right. So I don't know. At any rate, it's the music that counts the most, of course. So a few thoughts about that. So the four discs, aside from the Blu-ray, which again is the surround stuff, you've got the a new remaster of the album proper. You've got the stereo mixes that Stephen Wilson did in 2014. I believe this is the first time these have been on CD. This edition, gosh, it's been a while since I pulled this out. Nah, I'll have to double check. But yeah, so you get the stereo mixes there, as well as instrumental mixes, which is, a nice touch. I think it's neat to listen to some of the instrumental mixes sometimes because for at least to my ear, a lot of times when there's a vocal, sometimes a slight nuance in one of the instruments just kind of maybe gets lost here. And there's like a tiny like split second of a guitar that I hadn't really noticed before kind of pops out when it's an instrumental version. So I like that. Now, that kind of thing is obviously for like real, die-hard completists, and that's fine. I think that's what a package like this is for. There's also a disc of rarities, mono mixes and single edits and things. A lot of them had already been released before. One that had not been released before is a new alternate mix of Yours Is No Disgrace. My assumption is that it was a mix from way back when in 71, and now is just maybe the time it's really seeing the light of day. I'd like to say a few things about that particular mix of Yours Is No Disgrace. It starts with a kick and a hi-hat, which is different than the proper album version. There's an acoustic guitar in the mix, which is kind of prominent, which gives it a whole different character. Keyboard sounds are a little different, and the end of the tune has a different kind of keyboard swell and a little bit of guitar noodling in the end. So I think it's a really, really neat a neat addition to the album. And then the fourth disc is two live shows. One is from Gothenburg, and I mean, these are short sets. They've got they're only 3 songs each, but I did some digging around. They are the full shows. The Gothenburg show is All Good People, Astral Traveler, and Everydays. And there's some really great stuff in there, even though the sound quality is from a more of a collector kind of completist perspective. The average person may not want to listen to it because of the sound quality, but it is good enough for a collector to really enjoy it. And but it's got a real energetic performance of All Good People. There's some bass noodling after the song's over, which is kind of fun. Listening to Steve throw his little variations and licks into Astral Traveler, which, as you probably know, was from Time and a Word, which he was not on. Peter Banks did the original guitar. So it's neat to my sensibility to hear Steve's take on it after just having joined the band. Everydays has a nice keyboard solo from Tony Kaye. So the Gothenburg show is really, really good. The New Haven show is also great. Steve is on fire on Yours Is No Disgrace. There's Your Move has some good organ soloing from Tony in it, and there's a drum solo in Perpetual Change. I would say it's a little interesting. It does the notes indicate that live version of Perpetual Change from New Haven is previously unreleased, but I do think it's on this, but it's okay. So there's some stuff in here to really satisfy real diehards, and especially real diehards that like to have things in physical format. I could be wrong, but my understanding is that all of this material, except for the main album, is not available on any streaming service. So if you're an absolute diehard fan and you have to have some of that stuff, the Gothenburg show, the New Haven show, some of these alternate mixes that hadn't existed before, and obviously if you're into the surround stuff, it's really worth getting. Of course, that's also a question of finances. These things aren't cheap. This is, I think, around $70. So for some people, they say, "Oh, that's a money grab," or whatever. Obviously, people have different opinions about that stuff, and if you don't want to spend $70 for it, don't spend $70 for it. I did, and my only real regret is that it's a little difficult to get the vinyl out, and I just wish that the pictures all lined up with the era proper. So the quality control folks, or I should say the research folks, perhaps, that put the liner notes together, dropped the ball on that with pictures from the Relayer tour. But that's a small point. So at any rate, I'm gonna put some links below to some of the stuff that my colleagues and I do on the side. Our music, our literature, our independent art. And if you have some thoughts of your own about the Yes album, this particular edition of the Yes album, I'd love to hear from you. So hit subscribe and throw a comment in below, and we'll chit chat. So take care. Thanks for tuning in.